Welcome to the new episode of Data Buzz with Ameya. In this podcast, we go over all the nitty gritty details about the data engineering, what to learn, where to learn, how to learn, which certifications to do, which technologies to learn, and everything. So, our guests on this podcast come with a lot of experience and great learning in the field of data engineering. They share their valuable insights, their teachings, their learnings, and their experiences to you. And without further ado, let's get started. And I'm here with the special guest today, who is Darshil Parmar. All of you must have seen his channel, gone through his projects on YouTube. I personally went through his YouTube and learned a lot. So let's welcome Darshil. And Darshil, could you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Darshil. I'm from Mumbai. I'm a freelance data engineer. Right now, I'm on a break from freelance, but talking about my career, I started from web development. Then I moved to data science, machine learning. Ended up becoming a data engineer. Did a job for a year, then moved to freelance data engineering. Worked at a Wayfair, that's a furniture company in Europe and US for 3 years around, and then right now I'm building my own stuff around data engineering. And I also run a YouTube channel where I teach about data engineering and talk about the trends and everything. Yeah.
Yep, yep. That was great actually. I've been personally following you since your early stages of your YouTube channel, and it has helped me a lot. But
Awesome.
yeah. So like you said, you started with your diploma and then bachelor's, and then you started your career with the web development, and then you are now a data engineer, right? So like, how did you shift these career phases, like from web development to data engineer, and like what made you choose the data engineering over web development?
So I think the choose in college, right? When I was in diploma, there was no data science. It was like around 2016 or 15, 16, around that time, and I was just still getting started with the technology. I was doing diploma in IT, CAC, all right. It's like kind of same. So there I just got introduced to web development in the final year project that everyone has. So there I learned about the PHP, MySQL, HTML, CSS. So that is when the career actually started. I did some internships. I worked there for few years into this domain, and I got bored. Usually get bored about things, so I want to try new stuff. So I thought, data science is emerging. I want to try this out and see how it works. So I started doing courses around it. Did bunch of courses on Coursera for like 6 months straight. From like morning to evening, I just used to watch courses, learn from different courses, and yeah, this is how I got started. Applied for few internship, got few internships also, and yeah, right now, yeah, doing the data engineering stuff.
Yep. The stuff that you do is really great, man. So, like, coming back, you said like you did some courses on Coursera, right? So, my next question is around that itself. So, like, what are the resources or the learning paths would you recommend for someone, who is starting in data engineering just now? Or let's say, like, he or she has the similar background as you back in 2019, like, he or she is in diploma or he or she is in like a non-CS background. So like, what would your advice be? What are the learning resources, and from where should they start?
Yeah. So when I started, for the Coursera phase was around data science and machine learning mainly. So I did like machine learning course by Andrew from Coursera, was like one of the best course at that time. I watched that course 3 times just to understand what the machine learning is, the mathematics behind it. I really liked working in machine learning. I also learned about data science from Coursera courses. Like there was some course, I forgot the name, but one was IBM also, and there was one more like data science specializations, something like that. So I did that, and I did two internships. One was in NLP, natural language processing. That was unpaid internship, remote, but I got to learn about a lot of things. So I did that, and after that I got a internship in startup company in Mumbai only. Uh, the internship was around data science. The first project was also around data science, but I got introduced to data engineering over there. Like they did not have the projects available for data science, machine learning. So they were like, okay, we have the data engineering projects available. You have 2 months of internship painting. So why don't you try this technology? So that is how I started learning about data engineering and did my first projects and other things. Yeah.
Right. So like your story is also similar to mine. So like I think I talked with Shashank as well, and his story is also same. Like we're all accidental data engineers because like this is my tagline, an accidental data engineer, right? So like the question is like there are too many technologies in data engineering. Like so, like which technologies should we use now, or which technologies should we learn now in 2024 to be a good data engineer?
I mean, yeah. So, like, if you search the big data landscape online, right, 2024, you will find like there are like more than thousands of tools available in the market. And at the end, if you understand what every single part of data is, like data engineering, data science, machine learning, it's all about solving business problem, right? So, tools are just a medium that you use to achieve those outcomes. In reality, even if you just write simple Python script and if you can achieve the business goals, that's good enough, right? But now again, you're working with a larger data, you're processing gigabytes, terabytes of data every single day, depending on the company that you're working. So in that case, you need a specialized tools for each and everything. So like there are high demanded tools used by every company, like somewhere like majority of companies uses these tools. It can be open source, it can be on the cloud also. So for the starters, I always suggest people to start with like Python, SQL. These are the foundation. Learn Python because used by most of the companies for data engineering. Has a lot of packages also. SQL is like backbone of data, right? If you don't know SQL, then you can't get into data. So these are the core foundations. Then it comes, this is when the actual data engineering tools start, right? When you start talking about like different things that can help you process all of this big data. So I always say like start by learning about data warehouses, because this is where you serve end users, right? The business stakeholders, data analysts, data science, who uses your data to like find insights and stuff like that. So in that case, pick one tool, like learn the foundations first, like what is like dimensional modeling, how do you build a data warehouse. There are some different concepts that you have to understand, like slowly changing dimensions. You can find the list online, easily available. And then you learn one tool that can help you to do the hands-on, right? You can pick Snowflake data warehouse database, or you can use Google BigQuery, Redshift. Again, you don't have to learn all of them, just learn one and you're good enough. Then comes the like processing part, which is it, you can either, mostly people use this Apache Spark these days. You don't have to learn Apache Hadoop. People talk about like should I learn Hadoop or not. I think getting the theoretical understanding of Hadoop is good enough. You don't have to master it, just go through it, the different components, but master Apache Spark. After that, you can learn about Kafka, is mainly used for ingestion, Apache Airflow for like building a data pipeline and orchestration, and pick one cloud computing platform. It can be AWS, GCP, or Azure. My personal favorite is AWS because this is where I started my career. But you can also pick Azure because it is gaining a lot of popularity right now. So yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Wow, those are like great resources, and I have the similar recommendations as well. So, like coming back, like when you started your journey, and now let's say like we have skills now, we have like the skills. We know like what skills we want to learn. So, like what resources did you use apart from Coursera? Like I personally read books online, like the Bible of Data Engineering, which is designing data intensive applications, the fundamental of data engineering books. Like what other resources have you read or gone through during your early stages of learning process?
The resources, right? Again, all of these resources were scattered, right? See, when I think we were getting into data engineering, there were very less resources and few people were talking about that, right? So at that time, like there was no proper resource. So every time if you want to learn something, either you go read a documentation or you learn the specific technology, right? It's not about data engineering, it's about learning first technologies. I'll go learn Apache Spark, I'll understand about this, then I'll figure it out that how do I process my stuff, like data using Apache Spark. So it's like learning individual concept. All of the resources were scattered, but mainly it was around like reading medium blogs, reading documentation, some of the white papers, reading the books also helped me. So I read like book on Apache Spark, which is like definitive guide. Yeah. So the second was data intensive applications. I read that. I did not complete it. I read it like 75%, like two times, because again when you read a book you don't have really have to complete like you are not reading a novel, right? You just have to pick some ideas here and there and see if you can apply those things. These days I recommend fundamentals of data engineering. I have a hard copy also. I always recommend that because this book really helps you to build the foundation. I also recently published a video on the fundamentals only. Like, it's a 3 hours long video, so that can help you to kickstart. Right, you get started with that, and then you start learning about the individual tools. You'll find bunch of resources online available for that. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So, like, now we have the comprehensive guide, like where to learn, what to learn, and how to get started. So, like, what would your advice be to someone who is transitioning into a data engineering? So, like, I get this question a lot from people. Let's say, like, oh, I'm from mechanical and I want to switch it to data engineering. Oh, hey, I'm from, like, I do not have the CS background. I do not have engineering background itself. Like, I was preparing for civil services, and now I want to become a data engineer. So, like, what would your advice be to like people like them?
Uh, See, first of all, like when we talk about data engineering, keep your goal clear. That if you start your data engineering career, there are very less chances that you will get job in 3 to 6 months. Okay, it might even take 1 year. This field is usually for little bit experienced people. Like, if you have 1 years of experience, then it's a good start, because freshers are not preferred. I'm not saying that you won't get a job. You can get a job if you have this skill set, all right, but having the right mindset is important. Again, this field is growing slowly, and in future I'm very bullish about this, that it's going to have a lot of jobs. People will be required in this field because you have to process a lot of data. We are generating massive amount of data day to day, right? So jobs are going to come. All you need to do right now is just prepare yourself. Like, learn the skill set, upskill yourself, and be ready, because opportunities will come, right? So if you are just getting started, like if you are from the non-tech background, don't leave your current thing. Okay, keep doing that, because this is your bread and butter, so don't leave that. But on site, just start preparing for data engineering. Data engineering is little bit complicated at initial stage, because you will be working with like very complex data. Will have to figure out a lot of things. If you work with Apache Spark, you will have to understand the internal configuration, process this like efficient way. There are a lot of smaller variables that you have to understand if you really want to master, right? And it takes time. It's not like, okay, I did the course and I'm master. No course can help you. Even I have the courses, but all of any course you go in the market, that will help you to kickstart. They will have you some foundation. After that, you have to play with it. You have to like build some projects around it, and then with the experience, you might be able to crack some things. You might learn, let's say, Airflow, Apache Spark, and if you're applying for a job, your resume gets shortlisted, and based on the interview, you might get a job, right? So there is no specific path. Like, there is no straightforward path that do this, and you get a job. No field is like this. There are multiple things that you have to do. Like, you also have to stay on active on LinkedIn, Twitter, or like X. You have to read things. You have to contribute something on the blogs. So opportunities can come from anywhere, but it takes patience, a lot of hard work. Like, it's gonna take time, 6 to 1 year, I always say. And having a little bit of experience, not in the data engineering field, but in any field, like even if you're SD, data analyst, or even non-tech background, right? If you have some experience that shows that you can like do the work, that's good enough. Yeah.
So, like, you told one thing, like, the any courses that you would do, it will help you get started. So, like, I completely agree with it. I completely agree with this point. So, like, for me personally, it was like I learned a lot. I've gone through theory. I've experimented some like data frame operations on Databricks notebooks and so. But I did one project on my own, like after learning all this, and then I realized, oh, that's how it works. So, like, was there any point in your life, like, there was some specific project or specific concept that you've studied, or maybe like you happen to know this in your work as part of your work, but like, was there any time or the project that had a significant impact and like made you realize, oh, that's how it all works?
Yeah, definitely. So, like when I started, like the first data engineering project I got was to work on the real-time data streaming, and this is like very few people get this kind of opportunities. I was working on AWS Kinesis. I was like processing real-time data, and that I saw the graphs like moving in real-time basis. So this is where I got the taste of data engineering and what it can do, and I found that okay, this is a good blend of what do you say, like business and also technology, right? You can have understanding about both. So this is the project that I liked, but the major impact, the one project that I had while I was working in Wayfair, there we revamped the entire data infrastructure from scratch. So they had the entire thing on premise, and we moved that to Google Cloud Platform. We built the data model from the scratch, dimensional modeling, created the data warehouse, built the visualization dashboard, and they have this like on Black Friday sales going on and every year. So we were able to see the impact of how many people are coming, how they are interacting with it. The internal dashboard users, we could see like how many people actually used our dashboards. So at that time you figure out that okay, everything that you're doing has some kind of impact in the real world, right? A person sitting in the like US at home is using buying a product, you can see that on moving on the dashboard. So all of this kind of the impact that you can see that okay, everything that I've done makes sense, like it gives you the purpose at the end of the day, and you get to see the output there. So I think that is what makes data engineering fun. It's like you see data flowing and you have written some logic, it passes through that and you see the final output. I think yeah, those are the projects that really it's fun to do, and there are challenges also, but it keeps you going.
Yeah, so like when you see the journey of the data visually, or you will be able to imagine that journey, or you will be able to see the end results that you've contributed value to the project. I guess that is the time when you will realize, oh shit, that's how it works, and it works so perfectly. So yeah, coming to the next question, we've been discussing around the cloud technologies as well, right? There are multiple cloud technologies that offer data engineering services. So what will be your advice? Do these cloud certifications do really add a value? Should we do these cloud certifications? If they add value, which ones to do? And like, yeah, just throw some light on this.
So see, certification don't, like really simplify all of these things, right? One by one. If you are doing certification just to get a job, then it doesn't work that way, right? But certification can give you some edge over other people, right? Because it helps you validate your knowledge when you pass the certification. Because if you go through, let's say, solution architect AWS certification or data engineering associate, that I recommend people to do it. If you're on AWS, right? Associate level certification available on all cloud platforms. If you do that, you go through a journey of learning multiple things, do some hands-on and understand everything about cloud. And then if you pass the certification, first you have the validation that okay, you actually know something, and company can also understand okay, this guy actually passed the certification exam, so he knows some few things about the data engineering on AWS, right? So this is where it actually helps. Second way it helps is that a lot of time when you want to learn something, it is really easy to get distracted, right? I'm learning about AWS and someone told me okay, Azure is the next thing and you'll get a job over there. Now you go on Azure, then you go to, let's say, Spark, then you go to Airflow and stuff like that. When you are preparing for the certification, you just stay on one path, so it removes all of the distraction, and it can actually help you to achieve something, right? Not everything, but something. Like even if you achieve like 5% of it, it's good enough, like you made some progress. So this is where certification really helps. If you think that okay, after doing certification I'll start applying for the job and I'll get a job, it doesn't work that way. Okay, certification helps you to upskill, validate your knowledge, and stay on the right path. Yeah, so
That's so spot on. Like I really like the answer, and like you pointed out it correctly. Like don't go everywhere. Just focus on one, upskill yourself, and then get the job done, or like then get the project done, and then apply to jobs. Because the projects and the experience will get you the job, but certifications will upskill you. That's a really good answer. So I have next question, which is a two-parter question. So the first question is, so like before the question, I have one more question to like just to wrap the discussion around. So like we have the technologies now. We know the technologies. We know where to learn from. We know the cloud certificate, which cloud certifications to do. So you mentioned you had internships and the job applications during your college itself, right? So how did you apply for those internships? And like internship culture is, I don't know if it is still in India, or like back in my time when I was doing my bachelor's, it wasn't like colleges were promoting it or something like that. but like how should one apply to the internships, or how should one contact, or how should one network with people to get an internship? So any thoughts on that?
Yeah. See, the game of internship is very tricky because not many people hire for interns, especially in data engineering, right? So in my case, how I got internship was very different case. Company was hiring for 2 years experienced guys. I applied for a job. My resume got selected somehow. I went to the job and I sold myself. Right? I was like, okay, I'm in a college right now. I need an internship. They tested my skill set and I got an internship over there. Now, this is a rare case that happens, right? I was lucky in my journey. But to get that luck part, I had to work for like 1 year. So the hard work always there, right? You can't get an internship without a skill. You need something. Companies hire intern because they want to save money and get a lot of output. Like I'm building my data with their company, right? I hire interns because first of all I don't have the funding, so I can pay like minimum amount, right? I'll still pay them, but I need a person who can do a lot of things. They can do development, they can do database, they can do deployment, all of the things. So you need to be like that first, like upskill yourself in a way that you are capable of doing internship at least. What people will do is that they'll copy some projects from YouTube, GitHub and stuff like that, and they'll start applying for internship. These are some common projects, right? If you go to my YouTube channel, if you do a project and if you put it that in your resume, think about that. 100k people have done that same project and they also have the same projects available in their resume. So even recruiter will know that, okay, this is copy pasted projects, right? So in order to get the internships, again, no specific path, but few things that you can do. One is get active on x.com and Twitter and LinkedIn, right? These are the two good sections. I always suggest people to stay active on X because developer community is there. A lot of people are talking about it, sharing resources. So if you are active there, and if someone catches the attention, you might find some opportunities there. Other thing is keep eye on startups, right? There are not startups, right? The information technology services company. Startups don't really require data engineers at the initial stage because they don't have the data. They are just working on the development side. But the companies who provide services to like US, Europe companies, like larger companies, they do require this, right? So you are likely to get a job over there. So just search about information technology services. They do hire for associate position or the internship position. You'll find a lot of them, right? These kind of agencies are everywhere. Other than that, you can just like search it on LinkedIn. There are some job portals. You really have to be active over there. And again, not a straight path. Just jump onto the ocean, try to swim it. You'll find something. But if you just stay there, okay, I'll get an opportunity tomorrow, not gonna get it, right? Just go there, get inside, and you'll find something at least. Yeah.
That was a really good answer. The one point I want to focus on is you mentioned like don't do like or don't copy projects from internet, but like which projects to do then? Like all the project ideas, like if let's say if I want to build a project, then first thing I'll go is I'll Google like what's going on in data engineering, like data engineering projects. So like if that's not the way, like what should be the way?
I mean, yeah, that's a good question. And the answer is also, again, doing projects from YouTube can help you start, right? I am a fresher. I don't know about data engineering. What I do, I search on YouTube. I learn about data engineering, right? Projects helps you to understand the overall picture. This is what I do, right? When I teach, I can teach individual technologies, but that's very boring. So what I do, I club an entire thing in 3 hours of video and just push it on YouTube. This is where people get to understand that, oh, this is how data engineering is happening. Like this is how companies are using. Again, this is on a smaller scale. You can call it as a POC, right? We are just testing out the different technologies. The goal of these projects is to learn technology, not really do a data engineering on the large scale level, right? You get to learn about Apache, not Apache, AWS Glue, Spark, Airflow. You get some good understanding. Now, if you want to get started, the first is like pick a problem, all right? Because again, when we talk about the data, is you're solving a business problem, okay? So best way is like you pick a problem that you love. Everyone has some kind of passion. Someone like cricket, football, like even the apps like Zomato, Netflix. You'll find bunch of things around these problems. You'll find a good data set. If you don't find a data set, try to like scrape internet, there are multiple ways. Like, well, where there is a will, you will find a way, right? You can't be like, okay, I can't find a data set. Like, there are a lot of people who keep complaining, there is no way I can find a good data set. And in my every single project, I get them a new way of doing a data engineering with different data sets. So data set is available. All you do is that you go on internet, you search for 5 minutes, and then you get off that I can't find it. It doesn't work that way. You have to spend entire day, you have to dig into the internet to find a good data set. There are companies who are publishing large scale data set. Like, if you go to open data on AWS, right? AWS open data, something like that, the website, you will find terabytes of data over there, and these are the raw data uploaded by the company. If you can use these data and process them on the large scale, on this journey, you're gonna like face a bunch of problems. You will find some data quality issues. You will find some errors on the technological level. Like, let's say if you try to integrate Apache Spark with Airflow and put the Kafka over there, if you let's say if it is static data, then you can build write a script that can stimulate the real-time data streaming way. All right, you can use AI, you can use chat GPT just to help get you the script, and you build that, right? You build a real-time data streaming data script that will read the data from static and build a real-time. You push it to the Kafka. Maybe you store it on S3 for like analysis, transform it using Spark, orchestrate it using Airflow. All of these things you can do. Like, any technology that you want to learn, you pick that, you try to integrate in your project. All right, and then you put that on your resume with the everything that you do. When you go to the interviewer will ask you, right, what did you do in this project? And then you can explain your entire journey, right? What the problem that you faced, how have you solved it, how you can go forward. So this is what interviewers are mainly looking for. They are not looking for the different tools that you use. They are looking for what problem that you solved over there, right? How did you solve it? What are the challenges that you faced? What can you improve in this? So this is the selling point of your journey. So you can't skip this part, right? If you think, okay, I'll get a project from YouTube, I'll put it on my resume, I'm done. No, this is a shortcut. Everyone will take this. You go with the hard path, right? You figure it out. It will take you months, but you will get there. Yeah.
So spot on answer. I mean, I couldn't find better words to put my thoughts. Like, I also wanted to say the same things, but I couldn't find a way to say it. But like, that was a spot on answer. Like, coming to next question, it's a two-parter question, as I said earlier. The first question is, what would you recommend to students, or like to anyone should start as a freelancer or to work for a company? That is the first part of the question. And like, you are a freelancer data engineer, right? So is it hard or is it difficult to get clients? Like, now that you have the huge portfolio behind you, so it might be comparatively easier. But how did Darshil started in 2019, or maybe like whenever you started, like how did you get clients like while doing freelancing?
Yes. So first is like between jobs and freelance, right? So see, freelance is exactly like a starting a business. Okay. If you have the technology understanding, you also need to know about like little bit of marketing yourself, put like little bit of copywriting, because you need to sell yourself online. A person is sitting on the US at some location having a company, they want to hire someone from India or any places, right? How do they trust you? You need to sell yourself, like your individual personality. And how do there's the same journey, right? You need to have good projects in your portfolio, the same path. Like, once you have learned technology, build the projects and prepared yourself to get a job, right? When you are like actually, what is that word, like capable of finding a job, okay, you are the right person now, then either you can go to job path and you can go to freelance. For a fresher, freelance is difficult, right? I don't suggest them. I always say that at least do a job for a year into. I did a job for a year, and then meanwhile I was doing a job, I started a freelance career, right? So in my case, I worked on the information technology services company. So what they do on the large scale, I did that on the smaller scale. So freelance on the larger version, it's basically you're building a company, you get some projects and you hire people and delegate all of your work. In freelance, you're the individual person who are doing everything, right? So it's the same thing. So I always suggest go to the company and work for a year, understand it. In my case, the company was small, so I got to understand how the clients are, sold, how do you get the project requirements, how do you understand data, how do you like sign off the projects. These are the things that you need to understand. You have to build the SOP. There are a lot of things, the technicalities about the freelance, that for a fresher is very difficult at the initial stage to understand all of these things, because the that guy knows the technology, right? They can do the work, but there are other things that you also have to do with the like invoice management and like giving the requirement, going on a call, talking to the person, giving them solution first, like going back and forth till you close them. It's a long journey. It's not like, oh, I have a job, I applied, I'll get something. It doesn't work that way. So do a job. If you have a job, you have a good understanding of how things work, then you can do the freelance. Now coming back to the second question, how did I start? Again, same, just jump and start finding things, right? I went onto YouTube, I watched bunch of videos. So I actually got a recommendation about freelance. I initially thought it might be a scam, it doesn't work, but I think it was an era of like pre-COVID, and COVID actually helped it to boost. These days also you can find good freelance opportunities. There are plenty of available. If you just search online, let's say data engineer freelance Upwork, you will find bunch of freelancers who are earning more than 100K a year, right? They are charging like $50 an hour and stuff like that. So there are people who are earning. So in order to get to that level, you will have to start somewhere. Okay, so it starts from there, right? There are good freelancing platforms available like Fiverr and Upwork that I highly recommend. Now when you get started with these platforms also, it's not like that I created my profile and I will get the job, right? I'll start applying. It doesn't work that way. Again, you will have to learn about the game of platform now. How does the Upwork work? How do you write a proposal? How to write a good hook and provide a solution? There are multiple things about the platform that you will have to learn. So go on YouTube, watch bunch of videos around Upwork, Fiverr, how to like properly create your profile, how to create your display picture, what are the keywords that you have to put in your description, your headline, multiple things that's cool. It's not like, okay, 1 hour I'll create my profile and I'm done and I'll start applying. It takes weeks. You have to reiterate things, move forward. So this is what I did. For 2 months I did not get any job. Again, for the freelance, I was doing my job on the side, like full-time job. One day I got some opportunities like $100 client for some like scraping work that wanted to extract data from HTML, put that onto PostgreSQL onto GCP. I did the job, I got some good reviews, and then I started getting like small work like $20, $50. In 4 months I got one like $30 hourly, and that actually changed my life. That was, I was earning like 3 to 4 times more than my job, and I was like, okay, I can quit this and take a risk and see how it goes. And till then, yeah, I think I worked for as a freelancer for 3 to 4 years, and it was pretty great. Yeah.
Wow, that's inspiring, man. So like you mentioned like earlier in the question, like the challenges or the like when you get errors and when you solve them, you will learn a lot about the technology or about the data engineering, right? So like what was the biggest challenge that you faced like in your freelancing journey or like while you're working as a full-time data engineer or maybe your YouTube as well? And like what did that challenge teach you or taught you?
So is it about the technologies or just the actual challenge that I faced?
It can be anything related to life as well, but like, what was the
Okay,
biggest
life as well,
challenge?
right? Oh yeah, I think the biggest challenge. So there are two things, right? One is going from job to freelance. That was quite difficult phase because, again, you have to have a risk appetite, and if you're a fresher, if you're just getting started, you don't really have any worries, right? You don't have responsibility, so you can go all in. So this is what I did, right? I took a leap of faith that this might work out. Again, it's a calculated risk. It's not like, oh, just go randomly. Okay, do something and then take the risk. So that was like very difficult phase initially, that I had some jobs available, but for like 1 to 2 months I did not have any earning also. So it was quite difficult at that time, but I kept trying. I kept figuring out every single day from morning to evening, just be on the site, figure out like best clients, upload proposal. Like daily I used to submit like 10 to 15 proposals, learning about the platform, how can I optimize more and more things. So every single day you iterate, you work on something. That was one of the challenging phase. And second phase, like around my end of, not the end of freelancing, so while I was working at the Wayfair, post COVID, right? A lot of layoffs started happening. You realize that, right? So in that journey, the first people that usually gets laid off is the contractors, freelancers, and because they don't have any legal contracts with them, right? You are working on a payment basis. You don't have any other things attached to it. So that was the time like they let go all of the contractors, and like every single one of the company, they like, we are not working with the contractors anymore. So at that time I lost the biggest client, so there was like the major revenue chunk. And after that, like, yeah, so I went full time on YouTube. So again, there was like a risk that I took, and my YouTube journey also took off, and then I like started teaching and stuff. Like, so right now I'm on a break. I'm building a platform for data engineers, like help them to get started and boost their career.
So like you mentioned the platform that you're building, right? So could you tell me or could you tell us more about that?
So the first thing, right? So the by vision of like this, doing the data vidya thing is first upskill people to kickstart their career into data engineering. Now there are many resources available, but again we are talking about structured resources in depth. All right. So this is what I'm trying to build. I'm building the individual courses for data engineers into the sequence manner. So if anyone who is interested in starting their career, this is the best resources. Like, we have helped more than 10,000 people to kickstart their career into data space. So they really love it. Now after that, once you learn things, where do we practice, right? And this is what we are building, right? A lot of my students were facing issues that, okay, I want to practice Apache Spark, but there is no platform for it. And I was like, okay, I will build that for you. So we are building a platform just like the lead code for Apache Spark, for Snowflake. You can come there, you can write your code, you can execute the entire thing. You have the proper data sets available. You execute things, you get the output, and you validate your skill set. So we are doing that. On top of that, we are building the labs for projects. So if you want to get the hands-on understanding of data engineering projects, is currently in development phase, but you will get to do the entire projects without you requiring any cloud computing or any access. All right, you will start the lab, you will do the entire instruction, you will complete the project, and you will get out. So all of these are the small things that we are trying to build in this entire space, and then maybe add a job portal in future, so that you build your skill set, you validate everything, and we will have your data, and then we can like ask companies if you are like properly suitable for the job profile, right? So we are just trying to build the entire pipeline, again doing a data engineering over here also. So yeah, again, that is the main goal. Again, you will find updates, like you can just follow me on the Twitter or LinkedIn, and you'll get to know about it if you're interested.
Oh, that's a great initiative. Like I found, like I also had this problem when I was learning SQL and Spark as well. So I wanted to run the same query in lead code SQL, and I wanted to practice the same query like on Spark as well. But I wasn't able to do it. So like that's a spot on problem. That's a spot on solution, I would say. So like you talked about biggest challenges, like all of the data engineering journey and advices and everything, but you interact with students always, right? Or you interact with people on much larger scale than me. So like, what is that one misconception that the people generally have about data engineering that you found? Oh, that's not the data engineering is.
Yeah, so I think there are a few. First is like data engineering pays a lot of money. I mean, it does. It's like same as software engineers only. Right? They think that data engineers are something like, there's like a lot of things are going on here and there. It's like revolutionary thing. But most of the time, data engineering is, you always sit in the back end. You don't actually get appreciated a lot of times, because people who build dashboards, people who build like machine learning models will be like, oh, you have done some revolutionary things, it is making impact. And you will be sitting at the back end trying to like there's like garbage data available on one side, and you are just sitting in between, and you are like making sure the good data goes there. You are just banging your head, like date formats are coming in random order, the data types are random, the garbage values are coming, and you just sit there and trying to like fix that one single issue into the larger database. So a lot of people think that data engineering is, I think it's fun, it is enjoyable, the challenge is very nice, you get to work on the cutting edge technologies, but it is also difficult together, right? It's not always like going good stuff. It is boring sometimes. You are just doing the same thing. You are again doing the ETL, but different way. You're writing the same script, you are again orchestrating the same stuff. So from outside it might look like, oh, a lot of things are going here, but if you get inside you will see that it's a complete war. So yeah, that's the biggest.
Oh, like that was a really good answer. Like I completely agree with all of the points that you shared because like I also feel the same thing. Like it's like data engineers are not appreciated much because we really sit on the back end and like the business what they see is, oh, how good our model is performing, how good our business is doing, what like how many months of sale that we did, and that's all data analysts and the data scientists on the front end or the front foot. But yeah, completely agree with all of the points. I could relate everything. And like also like this will be the second last question of the podcast. Like, do you think India is lacking behind when in terms of the technological advancements or the data engineering awareness in general? Because I see in the United States, like I've been here since like more than 2 years now, and like I've been around with such people who are like technology innovation in general in United States. I think it's 1 year ahead than India. What are your thoughts about it? And like if you feel the same, how should one be trendy or like be consistent with the trend?
So see, in India, like experienced folks do have understanding, but a lot of freshers and the students don't have, because they always get exposed to SD software development. So they'll learn about web development, React, Node.js, and all of the cool stuff, right? Because everyone else is doing. And second is like doing DSA because I want to get into the good companies, right? So their journey is going through that only, like DSA, and web development, which is a good thing. And this is the reason they don't get exposed to data engineering. And like that is one of the reasons that you will always say, like, people just want to get a job and do the DSA, right? In India it's the big market, like DSA is the big market. In my career, right, when I started YouTube, that was one of the initiative that I want to convert people from SD to data engineering. Like I want to tell people like, come here, right? This is the best stuff. Yeah, so like I was just advocating for it. I was like making beginner level content for people that come here, do some stuff here. It is a great field, and a lot of people got actually interested into the field. They started their career. They actually find this field very interesting. So I think it is growing at slow pace. People are getting recognized slowly that okay, data engineering is a good field to start. There are some fears around AI and stuff like that, but I think overall this field is very stable right now. You can easily expect like 10 to 15 years down the line, it will be in a good position, right? So this is the time, right? This is the best time right now at this moment. All right, you can learn data engineering for a year, get into this, and have a good career ahead. So yeah, definitely.
Right. My actually the last question was touching base on this itself. Like it's okay. Like we have understood what data engineering is, where to learn, and everything. But like, how do you see the future of data engineering? ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि like I'm starting to learn data engineering and like there are no jobs because the AI is coming and everything. So, do you want to just elaborate more, or even if you don't want, it's fine. Like we have already covered it in the last question.
Yeah, so this question is very common. Even see, everyone fears that, right? Even if you say you don't fear it, everyone fears that. Even I was fearing like, oh shit, this is good. It can write entire Spark script. What am I going to do? But it doesn't work that way, right? And when I'm building my product, I need a lot of SDs and things to work together. Now AI can't really do that. Like I was working on some product, and I wanted some script for questions and answer and like backend thing. It got me started. Like it gave me some logic, but I need to really understand this. If I don't understand this, I can't put this in my script. It will break the entire thing. It doesn't work that way, right? So it will help you. Like it will help you to boost your productivity. Things that took you like entire day, you can finish that within 2 to 3 hours. That is going to happen for sure. Future of data engineering is bright because again, to train all of these AI models, to train like have the business decision and everything, you need to have a good data. You can't push the garbage data inside the models. So data, as a data engineers, okay, you will be taking a lot of decisions about cleaning data, some people might say, okay, this can be also automated. At some extent, not entire thing, right? It's like saying that, okay, it can create the website. Yes, it can create the website, but you want to create the customized website with bunch of features, right? So when you create the data pipeline, when you integrate multiple tools, you want to have some control over it. You want to integrate it different way as per your requirement. So these are the things that's going to happen. Again, all of these are predictions as per my understanding and my knowledge. It doesn't again yeah, exactly. So data engineering has a good future. There was a report about the state of data engineering in 2024 published by the All India magazine, all right, analytics magazine. I also made a detailed video on that, and it also talked about that the market for data engineering by 2028 is going to cross 100 billion. Right now it is very less, and it is going to cross that because the amount of data that is getting generated, we have very less skilled people into this space. So eventually we will require them to sit there, clean everything and then put it onto the training system. So requirement is going to be there. I think requirement for this entire technological space will be there. You will be much faster. There will be more problems that you will be solving. Okay, so it is going to be there. All you have to do is just upskill yourself. Don't be afraid. All right. If you just stay, okay, the AI is coming and I'm done, then you will stay behind. But I use this applications like ChatGPT, Claude, the GitHub Copilot into my day-to-day activities. I use these AI tools to boost my productivity. These days, I don't usually write code. I just tell the ChatGPT generate this. I put this into my block. If it gives me error, I ask the ChatGPT, okay, this is the error. It'll say, okay, modify this part. I'll put it there. Then I'll just try to figure out how do I, put the different pieces together. So all of these things you will have to learn, and to do that you need to have a basics, right? You can't do, like, if you don't know Spark, if you don't know coding, the basics, you can't do anything, right? You will be like, oh, you'll be stuck. You can understand some bits and pieces, but to move forward you need to have the good foundation. So foundations are everything.
Yes. So like I have a really good simple terminology for this. It's like so AI everything picture is like an open book exam. So even if it's open book, you have to study for the exam. You have to like you should know where to look for the answers, right?
Exactly,
So I
exactly,
guess
yeah.
like in simple
Definitely.
nutshell, it is an open book
That
exam,
makes
but you
sense.
have to
Totally
know,
makes sense.
yep, where to
Yeah.
look for. Yep.
Even the like Stack Overflow, right? You have everything available there. You have the documentation available, but you have to go through that and look. So AI just made that easier, but you still need to know things, right? So yeah, that's spot on.
Yeah. That really makes sense. Also, I really enjoyed the time with you, and like that concludes our
So much.
podcast. And like,
Even I enjoyed this. Yeah, I was like, this is the first time I had like deep conversation on data engineering. Most of the time it's just shallow one where we talk on the surface level and we are done. But this is the first time like we really went deep into like the intricacies of data engineering, right? The career part, the projects part, and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you so much.
wow, I really enjoyed, and thank you so much for doing this. I literally did not think like you would reply but this is your learning as well, guys. Like just shoot that DM and maybe they'll reply you. So yeah, I'm so glad that we made this. And like any advice before we end this podcast, like in general, or like this is all.
Simple advice: you cannot find shortcut. Hard work is the way. All right, don't go for the easy path. You will never succeed. Go for the hard path. Work hard. Have patience, and you will definitely, not right now, but after 6 months or a year, you will be in the good place. So do that.
Yes. And I'd like to highlight one more thing. If you remember the podcast with Abir, guys, he also highlighted the same points, the leap of faith, the risk appetite, and everything. Also, like I did one more with Manish as well. He also emphasized on the similar words. And this is the story with me as well. I knew the market in US was gonna be bad when I came for masters, but I took the leap of faith. I had that risk appetite, and doers will do it, and the people who will complain, they'll keep complaining. So with that note, thank you so much. हंसते रहिए, हंसाते रहिए और खुश रहिए, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.